You're listening to Estrogen Dropouts.
Hey, welcome back to Estrogen Dropouts. I'm one of your hosts, Erin.
And I'm Elizabeth, and today we are talking about friendships in midlife. At this stage in our life, we either have a tendency to fall in one of two camps. One, you have lifelong friends or friends that you've had deep connections with for a while, or two, you don't have many friends because you were so busy raising your kids and focusing on your family that at this stage you look around, you're like, whoa, now what?
Yeah. Well, I think also sometimes when we get to midlife, we've had a lot of our friendships were friends because they were the mothers of
Yes.
our kids' friends, or say a sporting, like your kid played travel ball or your kid did dance. And so you'd go and sit with all the dance moms at dance class or dance competitions or, travel a ball if they were doing all kinds of,
Yeah, so that was your weekend friendships.
right. And so while I think those are valid friendships, sometimes those are just friendships for a season and not for life. They're not like
Hmm.
lifelong friendships or really deep friendships. It's more like, oh gosh, yeah, Johnny got his he had a wrestling coach and yada yada yada. Or I'm like, Garrett was in this art class and he got into an art competition or whatever. So I think then once that common denominator goes away because your kid grows up, then you don't see those people, right?
Yeah,
It's not saying they're not true friendships, but they're just not the kind of
not lasting.
right,
Friendships of convenience instead of
right.
true, natural, solid, deep.
Yeah. But sometimes you're lucky enough to make a friend in a setting like that stays a lifelong friend, right?
Yeah.
You withstand, the breakup of the travel ball team and so you still keep in touch with them. And it's interesting, I think, that we often have different kinds of friendships. Like you said, lifelong friends. And then you might have your friends that you just go to dinner with, or your book club friends, or your friends that serve different needs in your life.
Yeah, and I think that that's important. I think that we can't expect one person to be, it's like expecting your spouse to meet all of the needs. That's just not very fair. We need girlfriends to balance that energy. We often need a different group of friends for each different thing, and that's fine. Like, I have some friends that I rely on whenever I'm going through a personal struggle because they are very wise and they enjoy helping and they think of that as like serving and they love it. And then I have other friends that are like, I can't be bothered. Like, I'm just here for fun and I have fun with them.
I read an interesting statistic that backs that up. It says you get 80% of your emotional friendship needs met from 20% of your friend group. So if you have 10 friends that you consider friends, two of those people are going to be your confidant friends. They're going to be the ones that you probably share a deeper connection with. Whereas the other eight friends might be your friends that you go out to dinner with, or you play around the golf with, or, you go to a concert with, but they're not maybe the ones that you're telling, you know, things that you're worried about your kids or something that happened with, you and your spouse where you had a fight or whatever, or even a health issue or something. You might not share that with all 10 of your friends.
And what I think is interesting is you're using the number 10. Most people don't have 10 women that they're engaging with. So if you only have three or four people that you're engaging with, out of those, you're lucky if you're getting a deep connection with one of them.
Right, right. Yeah. One. So why do you think that female friendships are so important?
I think that women understand each other on a different level. And so I just feel so much different hanging out with girlfriends than I do hanging out with my husband. I love hanging out with him. He is definitely my best friend. But it's a different type of best friends when you and I go on a girls' trip to Italy. Like, we're having a different level of fun. It's just a different kind. It's giddier.
Yeah.
It's younger. It's more youthful feeling.
Yeah, it's silly. I think it takes us back
Yeah.
to being little girls when we were 10 and had sleepovers.
Yeah. It's like it's just more, I don't know, it's different.
Yeah. Well, I think also we're mirrors for each other. Oftentimes when you have a female friendship, um, that I know that and I consider Jeff my best friend for sure, but sometimes he's a problem solver.
Oh, yes.
And I
That's what I
think
have.
that female friendships, we don't solve the problem. We just listen, we hold space.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of ends up being a good like mirror for us to like, oh, wait, you know, I see kind of clearly now, that what I needed to. Whereas, we're not telling each other like, well, this is what I think you should do. We don't go into problem solving mode.
Yeah.
Not that I think, I mean, sometimes you need a problem solved. And, then I'm like, Jeff.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
if I just want to like,
Like, I just want to vent.
yeah.
And then your girlfriend's there going, yeah, that sucks. Or, yeah, that was rude. Or, I can't believe they said that. And that's all you want is someone to validate you.
Loneliness is the biggest predictor of early death and also health outcomes when you're lonely. And that's one thing I think that really differentiates a true friend from maybe a fair weather friend, or maybe you wouldn't even call them a friend, is when my friends have good things happen to them, I am so happy. It brings me more joy than if it happened to me, So I
Yeah.
like to celebrate. I want to be there to help navigate the tough times, but then also to really celebrate the really good things that happen to them. Like they get a promotion, or they get a new car, or, they have their first grandbaby or something,
Yeah, that's definitely
So
something
having
to
that.
like be aware of. Who is celebrating you when something good comes your way? That's someone I always think that's like the true indicator of a good friend when something happens good to me and someone's like, "Hey, that's amazing. Congratulations," or whatever. Then I'm like, "Oh, like your energy vibes with me." That's what I think. I think like cuz if something could happen to you and if I knew it, I would definitely like, all right, so we've got some good energy going here.
Yeah. And it's been really interesting too with the podcast, seeing the people that are cheering us on.
Yeah,
And
tons of
friends
people.
that are just like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. They're not going, well, why didn't I do that? Or sometimes
Yeah.
they get triggered by your, being,
Success.
yeah, your success. But yeah, so I think that you're right. Probably most women have four friends on their, they can really like count on.
Yeah, I did an Instagram poll, and on average, most people said they had 2 to 3 friends on my poll.
2 to 3. So
Yeah,
that's a close. Now, I think sometimes you have
it
a
may
village.
be. I didn't differentiate. I just said, how many girlfriends do you have? And most people said 2 to 3.
Well, I think if something were to happen, like let's say, God forbid, I had a health scare,
Yeah.
had some kind of health issue come up. I think in my neighborhood, I have a lot of, I would consider friends. They may not be like close friends, but it's a little bit more than an acquaintance because we know each other a little bit better than being an acquaintance. But somebody would get a meal train going or like drop
Oh,
off
for
meals.
sure. Yeah.
I think, but like for most people, you're probably right. 2 to 3, maybe four really close friends. And that's all we need, though, I think. You can't just have one friend, but you need to have a couple. What are some ways to make friends in midlife, because it is kind of isolating. Sometimes we've retired, like we said, the friends that you made from your kids' mom's friends, and then if you've retired from your job, or if you're like today's society where everybody's working from home, so you're hardly ever in the office.
For me, because I work from home, so a lot of my friendships start on social media. And then it's like whoever is regularly interacting or commenting on my posts because I just work from home and I don't really see a lot of people. And then it'll kind of friendships start that way. It's just kind of like at first it's just like interactions and then it kind of starts and then it ends up with like, okay, let's go to lunch, let's go to dinner. And then that's how friendships get started typically for me. But oh, sorry, but my then I've seen my girlfriend. She just started a running walking group in our community, and that's been great. So the first week, only one person showed up. The second week, 9 people showed up, and I didn't hear how many just showed up last weekend, but I'm sure it was probably more than that because she said they had a great time. So I'm going to be joining that with her because I like to walk.
Yeah, so one friend brings another friend, and then you're like,
Yeah,
in the word of mouth. Well, I think that is really common nowadays too, especially for the younger generations where they make friends online. I do think that for me, that's just not a way I've made friends because I don't work online. And I think for me, it's like I have to like have that in person. I'm not saying it doesn't make a valid friend by
Yeah.
any stretch of the imagination, but it's like I worry sometimes about the younger generations who are making all of their friends online. They have, these online game friends. And I feel like, are we distancing ourselves from that in-person connection and then with everybody working from home as well?
Definitely are. I mean, so like I have to make it a point. So I made friends with another beauty creator and she's from Canada. And then we both met in Boston and had a girls' weekend there. And that really solidified the friendship. It
Yeah.
was like we were always like we had FaceTimed before, we'd done YouTube lives together. So we had done a lot of virtual things together to connect. But seeing each other in person, it takes the relationship, you trust each other more after you see someone in person and you have that heart to heart where you're looking in their eye and sharing, versus even if I'm looking on the eye on FaceTime or something, it is different in person.
Yeah, you can get a really good sense of someone like it's like that flesh and blood, the cohesiveness.
We have to make a concerted effort to develop friendships. So it's just like if you were single and dating, and some of you might be, and how you make an effort to meet people, like another partner, you have to make an effort to meet girlfriends. You have to invest in it. It takes effort. It's not just going to happen. You have to work at it. You have to reach out. You have to show genuine interest in that person's life.
Yeah, so it's almost like dating a friend.
Yeah.
Well, I think for me, one of the things that I've done is have made friends is from taking a class or, taking a new hobby. Like I've done a painting class. I joined a creative street class in my neighborhood and made friends that way. Like you said, your friend with the running club, you end up having a shared passion and then you connect around that at first. And then you kind of see how the friendship goes because you have you see each other every week at painting class and then you get to know each other more and more and more. And then it turns into a real friendship. There's an interesting stat. It's called the 11-3. And I'd never heard of it either, but I thought it was really interesting. It says to take someone from being an acquaintance to a friend, you have to have 11 interactions of 3 hours or more in a 6-month period or less.
That's crazy. That's really interesting. I mean, just to sit there and think on it. Have you seen, like, I'm failing if that's the case? Like
no,
a friend.
it's not a failure. I think obviously it's just a statistic and it's like a general rule, but
I think it's a good guideline to push yourself towards. If you
Yeah.
are invested in this person and creating a friendship, you have to make more of an effort.
Yeah. Well, I made one of my really closest friends in 2023. She's my my conscious business partner, Mary. And she started following the podcast and sent me a friend request. And I ended up accepting it because as I looked at her Facebook profile, I was like, oh, I recognize her husband. He goes to my gym. And so I accepted her friend request. And then the next time I saw him, I was like, oh, your wife friended me. And he was like, oh, so he went home and told her, like, Erin. And she's like, who? But then I saw what she was posting about her conscious business. And of course, being a health professional and a, yoga teacher, yoga therapist, I commented on some of her posts and then I sent her a message and I was like, oh, we should have coffee. I mean, she's local. And so then we just started, meeting up to talk about things. And then it grew into us, hey, let's collaborate. So we've hosted, 3 retreats. We did a weekend one and then 2-day ones. And we've got another one coming up. And we just work so well together. It's just effortless because it's like us. It's like there was never any feeling of, can I trust her? Can I not? Or, no competition. She cheers me on with the podcast. I cheer her on with her other stuff. We both are very complimentary to each other.
To meet her. So I'm going to Atlanta next week and I'm going to meet her.
I'm so excited. Yeah, you'll definitely have to meet her and you'll love her. And I think that, when you obviously, I'm not discounting online friendships because most of our friendship has been online.
Yeah, most of ours.
We have been together in person 4 or 5 times maybe, right?
I'd have to count.
I
feel like it's probably more than that, but
it maybe has been because of all the
traveling, the trips.
Yeah, and we did couple of
But I don't
retreats.
know, maybe not.
Oh, it's probably been 6 times. I don't know. It's been enough times and we've had enough interactions.
Yeah, but that's for everyone to know. Like, we haven't been in each other's presence like consistently. Like, we've now lived, we live in different cities. So,
Right. But we have,
but we talk all the time.
yes, I mean, we do it like with voice texting. And I think that helps too when you send voice texts because that solidified our friendship. Because I think sometimes when you text with just text, and not with voice, you don't get to hear that person. And there's so much that can be read different
Yeah.
in a written text versus a spoken text. Undertone, subtext
Hmm.
takes place. Yeah, I think another good way of making friends is volunteering.
Yeah. I'm planning on volunteering in the fall. So
What
I've
do
been
you
looking at the hospital. I don't know.
Okay.
Just I was thinking because they said they're ER volunteers,
So
and
you
I'm like,
empty in bedpans?
well, I won't be doing that. I guarantee you, because that'll be like on my. I won't do that. I don't know what I would be doing, but I love like medical shows in the ER shows like this, and I'm like, oh, I think I would like that.
We're gonna be
Um,
like, we need a crash course set over here. And they're like, are you a nurse? You're like, no, I'm a volunteer. They're like, ma'am, we need you to go out to the lobby
I
and
know.
that's where we asked you to check people in.
Like Elizabeth, pipe down.
Yeah. They're like, you don't know what you're doing. So you're going to be volunteering. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't signed up yet, but I did call. I spoke with someone. I got all the information. And so I've got to, I was just waiting for Johnny to go back to school. And
Yeah.
then I'll officially, because once I put in my application, then it's processed within a week and I start training.
Okay. So maybe you'll be a candy striper.
That'll be
Do you
fun.
remember those?
I do.
I wonder if you'll wear scrubs.
I hope so. How fun would that be? Then I really get to feel like I'm like a nurse or something.
But then somebody would be like, ma'am, I need you to come in here. I need help using my bedpan. And you're like, oh, wait,
Yeah,
I'm
no.
not a professional. I know I'm in scrubs, but let me tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think another good way is like I know we talked about retreats a little bit, but like going on a women's and like an adventure retreat, a yoga retreat, a self-discovery retreat, a church retreat, just something with a group of like-minded women. I know I've made some lifelong friends. I went to Teotihuacan with an author for like a soul journey retreat, and I've met some lifelong friends, and that was in 2021 or 2022. I can't remember now, or 2021. And we still Zoom multiple times a year, and they live all over. Some are in Canada. Most of them are on the West Coast though, so I haven't seen them. But in fact, I got a text from one today.
Well,
So
you
it's
share a
nice.
profound experience like that,
Yeah,
it bonds you in a way that nothing else does.
it bonds you quick,
Yeah.
and so it was really special.
Yeah, I definitely 100% agree with that. That's such a great way to do it. I mean, and you can do a retreat that's not very expensive. I mean, you can do one in your hometown.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean,
you go to a church retreat.
for sure, they have retreats for a weekend,
Mm-hmm.
nights or something. And if you're a spiritual person, a religious person, it's perfect for you. If you're a yoga person, you can do a yoga retreat. You don't have to go to Costa Rica to do a yoga retreat. You can go just an hour, away from where you live and do a yoga retreat. And it can
Mm-hmm.
be very inexpensive. I try to always price my retreats as low as I can. I feel like everyone needs that kind of experience, but
They do. I feel like I'm such a big proponent of women's retreats.
well, so we talked about ways to make friends, why they're important, but what are some, would you say, red flags for friendships?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I've got a little story. Okay, so I have this best friend that I've had since Johnny was 3 years old, and our friendship fell apart in 2020. So what was he like? I don't know. He was like 15 then.
Yep, 5 years ago? Yeah.
Yeah. And so 14 or 15. He was a freshman. And we talked all the time. We went out all the time. And I knew that she like would ice people out. I had blindness to her. I did not think she would ice me out. And so she was going through a tough divorce and she was dating. And anyway, she was almost 50, dating boys. like in their 20s,
20.
like late
Yeah.
20s. And um, I I made the comment on a, not even like to her, but I made the comment that on Facebook, I posted, finally, we have about the bachelorette was going to be dating, but they brought in the older bachelorette and the older bachelors. And so I made a comment and said, or a post, I made a post and I said, I'm so excited that we're having older people on the bachelorette season. And I'm really annoyed though that they put guys in their 20s on there. What's a 24-year-old doing with this 36-year-old? I wasn't thinking about my girlfriend, and she literally unfriended me and started ghosting. And I would text her and I was texting her. I'm like, what? And finally it was like, it had been 2 weeks and she hadn't responded to me. And I'm like, what is going on? I go, what did I do? And she said, I saw that post. I can't be friends with you because you obviously don't respect my choices to date because, and I was like, oh my God. And I guess she was right in the sense, like, but I feel like to,
Something personal that,
wasn't about her. It was about, I wanted to see older people dating. I'm like, why is it always about the 20s? Like I love the Golden Bachelor. I'm like, that's so fun watching older people date. So I'm like, I just wanted to see. I really didn't mean anything, and I really, anyway. It was, so she was done with me, and it was. But when I look back, she had a history of cutting people off really quickly and not giving friendships another chance. And I just didn't think it would happen to me. And so that's a red flag though. She had a pattern of doing this and
right.
I had seen it and I'd questioned her about it. I was like, yeah, but like you went to Europe with this person. Why do you just like stop talking? And she's like, oh, because in Europe, she didn't ask me like where I wanted to eat. It was all about her. And
So she had her pseudo boundaries of friendships that, oh, you crossed my boundary, which, we could do a whole episode on boundaries. But like, are your boundaries really boundaries or are they just artificially created for you to cut people out of your life when they
yeah,
do one thing that you don't like?
and it's so weird too, because it was like, I know her, like, I mean, I've known her. And so I'm like, she acts like such a laid back person. And so when she was telling me about her Europe trip with her friend, I was thinking, I know how that went. That girl was literally like, where do you want to eat? And she was like, oh, wherever you, like, because I've seen her do, like, that's her thing. Like, she's like, oh, Maisie, wherever you want. Like, she doesn't ever solidly say, I want this, I want that. And then for her to get home and be like, she didn't ever ask me where I wanted to eat. It was all about her the whole time. I was like, well, I don't know. Is that true? I don't know. At the time, I didn't even believe it. Like I didn't believe. I thought maybe that was your interpretation of it, or I don't know. I think that the red flag was clearly there that she had a history of doing this. It wasn't even just that girl. It was like others. And she was only then good friends with people that were out of state, but she wasn't building connections with people she saw regularly. And so I just think that can be a red flag.
Yeah.
As,
I think a red flag for me is when somebody doesn't want you to have other friends.
oh yeah, we got a story about that too.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think when someone just like they have to be the center or
The favorite.
yeah, the favorite, like they don't want other people to like they get
Territorial with a friendship. It's weird.
yeah. It's like I'm not in fifth grade. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
in fifth grade I was like, I don't want my best friend to have another best friend. Maybe I felt that way. I can remember kind of feeling that way with a friend. We were best friends, and it wasn't that I didn't want her to have other friends, but I wanted to be her best friend. Like,
Yeah.
and then I finally realized, like, oh, you can have more than one best friend. Like, you don't have to just have
Yeah.
one best friend. So that for me is a big red flag. And the other, what I just had said earlier was that a friend that can't celebrate you.
Yeah. That I definitely get the ick.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
it's
a
like
friend that's jealous of you in any
that's what
sense.
it boils down to jealousy. It boils down
Yeah.
to if it's hard to be friends with someone who doesn't have a good sense of self and is confident in themselves and that they, need to constantly be the center of attention, or they always have to have you be paying them the compliments instead of, them ever giving you compliments.
Or if they're just like always drama, always negative. Like I had another girlfriend that was like, every time you see her, it was like everything is a catastrophe. Like, and she would just unload. And it was so burdensome. Like, and it wasn't even, she was not actively going through a trauma. It was just, she just likes drama.
Yeah. So you have to look at how you feel when you leave that person.
Yeah. And I would feel suffocated every time. Like, oh my God, thank God that's over. Like, I can
Yeah,
breathe now.
drained. I've
Yeah.
had friends like that where I've had to take a break sometimes. It's not that I don't expect everything to be sunshine and roses all the time. It's not, it doesn't always have to be easy. Like I'm willing to like I will be a ride or die. If
Yeah.
I'm going through a
Same.
hard time. But if somebody just is like an energy vampire and just every time you leave them you feel drained and you're not getting anything returned to you, it's like I don't end friendships. I've only in my entire life really only had one friendship end. It's more like sometimes I may have to give myself a little bit of distance. And it doesn't mean that
Yeah.
I ignore the person. It's not like I like your friend who didn't answer your text. I mean, straight up tell me right then, like, hey, I saw what you posted, it hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
And you would have said, "Oh my gosh, you're right. That was I can see how you would think that was hurtful to you, or I can see how that would be hurtful to you. I didn't mean it in any direct response to you, and I am sorry." You own up to it. You would have said like you
I
would have
think that she didn't do that though, because she really didn't care, because she felt like she saw how I really felt deep down about her dating someone in their 20s based on my post. So I think she had decided, like, if you were gonna, I think that she didn't
yeah,
care
she
about my
was like,
reasoning.
okay, this is a deal breaker. But let me ask you this. Do you need your friends' approvals?
No, what do you mean?
So let's just say you were her and you were dating a 25-year-old. And I said to
Oh
you,
yeah, I wouldn't need her
and I
approval.
said, Elizabeth, seriously, what are you doing dating a 25-year-old? Come on.
Yeah.
Like, and you'd say,
And I'd be like, I don't know, he's hot. Like,
I,
I'm having fun.
there's great sex. And I'd be
Yeah.
like, okay, but there's
Which
no
is
future.
basically how our conversations went. I would be like, you can't have are you really going to have like a life with him? And she's like, no, I'm just having fun. And I'm like, oh, score.
Exactly.
Like, you're not looking to marry him, and like, you're just having fun. Even if you were, I mean, I don't really care. It's none of my business. Do what you want.
Right. But it's just interesting that she needed it's like she ended the friendship because she didn't get your approval, is basically. But again, she had a history of that. So that's a red flag when you see how someone, if you've seen patterns of behavior, you're like, oh, eventually they're going to do it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did, like, reminds me, when you need someone's approval, you're losing your power. You
Right.
lose. So if you, like, a lot of us naturally will give our parents, we need our parents' approval, a lot of us. And so that means we're giving some of our power over ourselves to our parents. I wouldn't give, I, like, my power to a friend. That wouldn't be a friend. I wouldn't give my power to, a peer. Like, I'm working on breaking giving it to my parents still. Like my mom, like, I'm not giving it to anybody else.
Yeah. I've gotten over getting approval from like my mom or my dad. I mean, I don't get disapproval now. I mean, my dad's passed away, but I think there probably was a period in my life because I was a good girl and I always did what was expected of me. And now, I don't go to church and she's very religious and she wants me to go to church. And for a long time, she would say things and now she doesn't. And it's like, and this is a total aside from our friendship episode, but there is something really monumental when you actually are able to like, I don't need anyone's approval. I'm worthy and I don't need to earn that approval from someone else. It gives you a power that
Yeah, I'm working on that with the parent thing. That's where I'm working on that. But
it
it's
is. It's
hard.
hard. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
So another red flag I think is, and this is kind of interesting, is a friend, and I've had a friend like this, or I shouldn't say like a good friend, but that kind of like flirts with your husband.
Oh, I would shoot that shit down. So, like, I don't play with that. I know one person that was always like, your husband's hot. I'm like, that is disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to be like, oh, you have a really handsome husband,
Oh, this
or
is so cute. Like,
yeah. But if you're gonna be like, your husband's sexy or something, I'm like, no.
yeah. So I think that's a red flag.
If somebody flirted with my husband, I would we would never see them again.
Yeah.
I do not
Well,
trust that.
like I said, it wasn't like a friend, but it was like these little, I'm like,
That is so weird.
she's like being a little bit inappropriate.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's not even out of fear that they would do something. It's
Oh,
like
no.
so disrespectful. So it's not that I'm afraid Chris is going to go hook up with someone. It's the fact that if you would do that to me, or flirt with my husband, you are not my friend.
Right, right, exactly. No, I know. That got nipped in the bud. I never said anything because I knew that she would deny it
Yeah.
and would like try to make it that I was like, crazy or whatever. So it's just like, okay, peel back a little bit, just kind of like, oh, we're busy that weekend or whatever. And so that way I didn't have to actually confront it. I mean, I can be very confrontational. I don't mind confrontation, but I don't have confrontation just to have confrontation. And if there's
Yeah.
an easier way out or a less messy way, and just to like say, hey, oh, we're busy or whatever.
Yeah. I think that you have taught me about confrontation for sure. I've seen Erin have confrontation and she's very good at it. And there's not any strong, it's not emotional. Like it's very, whenever you do have to say something or speak up and you're like, hey, this isn't right because of X, Y, and Z, or hey, I don't like appreciate this. Like you do it in a way that it's not triggered. It's like, I mean, I'm sure you have, but anyway, but this is what I always think of. We're all leading all the time, even whenever we don't know that we are. Like people are watching and learning from us all the time. And so Erin has taught me how to like that you can, because I'm afraid of confrontation 100%. I will avoid it at all costs. And Erin's like, no, like it doesn't have to be bad. Like it doesn't have to be a thing. Like I can just say this and she does it and it's fine. Nobody gets butt hurt. Everyone's fine. Everyone's like, oh, she said this. Okay, that makes sense. Or it doesn't make sense and they have a different opinion, but it's always fine. And then I have another girlfriend who, like for me, confrontation also, not even, but like I was in a winery group. And so everyone was going, and the group started going weekly. That's just too much.
Oh, yeah.
And one day, my closest friend in the group was just like, I can't go. And I was like, oh my God, you have to go. Like, you can't leave me. And she's like, I don't want to go.
She was your buffer.
Yeah, she was my buffer. And I was like, well, I've never wanted to go. I go because you go. And she's like, yeah, but I don't want to go. This is too much. And I'm like, I agree, but now I can't say I'm not going. And she's like, yes, you can. And I go, no, because now it's like, I don't like them. I'm only there because you're there. And then now it's off, and then I start spinning.
Uh-huh.
But
And
what
she's like, just say you can't go.
right. She's like, you don't have to give a reason. Just say no. And you're not available. That's it. And she's taught me how to say no. And she said it so many times. And every time I would be like, ugh. And I'm like, I can't believe she said no. And now I can say no with no issue. So it's like you're learning from your girlfriends too.
Yeah. We definitely need to do a whole episode on how to say no. I think as women, we're just indoctrinated to say yes to everything. Yes,
Yeah.
oh, yes, of course. No problem. I can do that. Well, it's interesting because I think I know what you're talking about, me being able to, and I want to clarify, just in case you don't know me in real life, and you're listening to this and you're just thinking I'm a royal bitch. And I'm just
No, not at all. Oh my God.
I'm very kind. Like
Very.
never try to be hurtful. Like I try not to ever say things that are hurtful. I have many times in my life, of course. But I also have an easier time to stick up or confront if I see an injustice.
Yeah.
And I think I know that's what made you say that about me. I'm less likely to do it for myself, but I definitely, if I see someone being, taken advantage.
Well, so I'll just give the scenario of one time I'm thinking of. So I don't know what time you're thinking of. We
Okay.
probably had a few of these because you are such a natural leader. I think you probably get tasked with saying the hard truth sometimes, but you're always very kind because you're kind with it and it doesn't offend anyone. But we were going on a girls' trip, and this is what I'm talking about, the pool thing and bringing her kids.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were going on a girls' trip, and there was like, I don't know, 15 of us all going, and she was no kids, no husbands, girl trip to Florida. And
Wow.
she's like, I'm bringing my kid. And we're all like, no, it's a girls trip. And so we're all panicking behind the scenes, like texting each other, like, and Erin's like, I'm going to tell her no. And Erin's like, well, one, no, because I don't drink alcohol and the rest of you do. And I'm going to get stuck watching her kid, which is 100% true. Because she's like, we're going to be at a pool or at the beach. And I'm going to be the one while you guys are off drinking, even just sitting there, that is worried about the kid because I'll be the sober one. And that's not cool. And I want to enjoy myself. And then two, we're all like investing money and into this and time, and we want a girls trip. We don't want your kid there. And you just told her very nicely, but you were like, it's,
we were like, oh my gosh, she wants to bring her kid. And I'm like, no, she's not bringing her kid. And
Erin was like, just like, no.
I was like, I mean, these women are traveling from out of state to come.
Yeah.
You know,
I wouldn't have told her no, for the record. Like, I'm such a pushover. I would have said, go ahead, but I would have hated it and been like annoyed secretly, but I wouldn't have said anything. But you were like, no, I'm telling her no. It's a girls trip.
And she wasn't happy with me.
She wasn't. She didn't go, but that's on her.
Like, we're not friends to this day because of that. So
true. Yeah, she got.
So any last thoughts on how we can make this a midlife? I think that, you know, it's definitely just my last little bit of advice is to just be open and approachable. I think sometimes, you know, and I mean, you know, some people say, oh, I have a resting bitch face, I can't help it. And I'm not saying you have to go around and smile at everyone. I'm not for toxic positivity, but I think keeping yourself open and approachable will allow people to, you know, want to connect with you, because that's what we're here for. We're here for connection.
And just try to connect more in your daily like interactions with people. So like, if somebody walks by you in your neighborhood, just say, hey, how are you doing? Instead of just hi, or keeping your head down. I think the more you put yourself out there little by little, then things will naturally progress.
Right. And we're more alike than we are different. You know, at the end of the day, we're all just trying to do our best. We're all just trying to get through life, and having somebody that you can talk to just makes it that much better.
For sure.
Yeah. So we'll see you next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
This has been a production of Estrogen Dropouts, LLC.